I'm in the middle of processing clay. I'll show you what I've gotten done so far. First of all, I have some clay stored here in a bucket. This is a sealable bucket, and here is some clay. This is what I did yesterday, and here's some today. This is softer. Okay, so what you do is, first of all, you have to get the clay over there and put it in here. The clay goes in here, and this water, I put water in there. And then I pour it, well, I mix it all around, get the rocks out of it. And I pour it into there, in there, and it goes through a screen. Goes through the screen here. This is a screen. And put it on there with ribbons, pink ribbons, and it goes on a basket. And I pour this watery juiciness through here, and the rocks, shake them in there and get the rocks out. And there's the rocks right there. They're still wet from all the clay. And this is my foundation for my kiln to go into. It's going to be a gas kiln. It's an electric kiln now, but I learned how to convert it to propane gas. So it's going to set right here. And this is clay mixed with lawn clippings to make it stronger. And it's going to be piled up like a wall here. And another one on this side. And then I'm setting my kiln here with a piece of tin on it to lift the lid up. It's going to go this direction. And then I'll be able to fire my clay that I make on this is my drawing table. And what I do is put this watery stuff after it settles. Then I take a bucket. Right here is metal pan bucket, and I pour this on there. Pour this on the plaster there. Just pour it on there. And then I put it back in there. There and there. And I let it sit on the plaster for a little bit. And it's not thick enough. I was supposed to let it settle. It's too thin. It'll still turn to clay, but it won't be very much of it. After this sits overnight, this clay right here will settle to the bottom, and it'll be like clear water, like an inch of clear water on top of it. But right now, it's not ready. So I gotta let that set around. And then I pour the water off of it. Through this crack here, I tip it up a little bit, and then the water pours off the crack and levels down the water to the clay, and I stop when I get to the clay there. And then it's thicker, and then I can scoop it, and then it's thicker. But first, let it settle, and then just scrape it up off the plaster, and it's clay. See? Good. Good clay. And I have a ball of it, and I put it in this bucket. So, this is where I get it from. over here. This is where I get it from. There's a hole that was digging in the ground. There's not much of it around here, but I found a spot where there's a lot of it. It kind of stops, turns to dirt again, but I gotta find the right veins of the clay. You gotta research areas you're living in. If you got far away from the clay, if you want clay, you gotta buy it on the internet. But this one, this is the dirt, and it's like 3 inches deep. And then there's like clay, there's dirt, there's roots in it. The trees grow right inside of the clay. But there's a lot of flint rocks in it. There's one. See, there's a big flint rock. And your shovel hits it, so it's really hard to dig out. I'm really tired, but it takes a while with the shovel to cut through it. And then you get the clay out and put it in a bucket. And there's the clay with the rocks. There's a big rock. So you have to filter all those out. And then after you take this, all this right here with all the rocks, you take it over here to the water bucket. You put it in there. And then you get water and you pour it in there. Then I have to stir it all around with the water. And then strain the rocks out in there in my basket. And then let it settle. And pour the water off. And then take the bucket and pour the clay onto this thing. And then let it sit and absorbs the water, the plaster. This is plaster of Paris. And I had these shelves here. These are shelves. They stack up with the poles there. And I put the plaster, I put a piece of glass on it, on this side, right here. Big piece of glass. And I duct taped it on. And then I poured the plaster through the cracks. And then when it dried, I took the glass off the top, and then it was smooth. And it's like it holds it in there. It's awesome. So that's what I got out of it. This smooth piece of plaster here. And it absorbs the water out of the clay. And it sticks to it, and you gotta scrape it up. And then you get a little bit of clay. And then you just keep doing it over and over again. And then you get tons of clay. See, look. I got all this clay here. Right out of there. It's like a brick. Anyway, I'm gonna make coffee cups and sell them for like $5.